Test, test, test. Hey guys, so great news. My new Keytar has finally arrived and I thought I'd do a little unboxing video for you. I have the box here in all its glory. So let's have a look. Let me open it like this. And here's what it looks like. So we have an invoice, which we don't need, of course. Let's start with this small white box. Let me close this. So what do we have here? We have, of course, as you can see, it's just your standard guitar stripe. You can make it longer or shorter, easily, like that. Me being a tall guy, I'm gonna leave it to maximum length. And, you know, I've noticed the strap comes with this string attached. I don't know, is this to maybe make it even longer, to extend it even further? I don't know. If any of you guys knows what this is for, please leave a comment and let me know. But anyways, yeah, this is the strap. Put it on and enter into shredding mode. And we put this back on the table here. And the next thing we have is this plastic bag. Of course, there is some paperwork. So we have safety instructions and warranty information in 5 different languages. Always good to have this. And then we have the user guide in those same 5 languages: English, Spanish, French, Italian, and German. At least that's what they ship here in Europe, I would assume. So, what else? We have this very cool little piece of paper that says, "Stop! Don't discard me." That's very cool because this thing, we're gonna have a look at it later, but right now I can say it ships with a shitload of software. I mean, you got 2 DAWs, 6 synths apparently. No, that's 5 synths actually. Let me show you here. Loom, additive synthesis, vacuum, subtractive, hybrid, a bit of all of them. Subtractive, FM, wavetable, time warp, an emulation of a legendary analog synth from, I don't know, 50 years ago or something. Expand, a sampler with almost any kind of sound you can think of. So they got you covered, right? And just to make sure that you actually use it, they even give you this, the activation and download instructions on the backside as well. And of course you get your license key for Ableton as well. Now it says here Ableton Live 9. Don't be fooled by what it says here. You'll get the latest version. Good, so what's next? We have a USB cable. Always good to have it included. It's this type of cable, so it's the same one you find on printers. This alone will both power the unit and take care of all the transmission of information. It's not super long, but it's, you know, all my videos, I use this to connect the Keytar to the PC, and I've never run into any issues where I would just pull it a little too much and it would maybe get disconnected, or even worse, stay connected to my PC and drag it down and make it fall on the ground. So I guess standard length for cables to be included with MIDI controllers. If you're doing home videos, it's gonna be fine. Good, but the alternative to that would be this little thing right here that puts the wireless into Vortex Wireless 2. Very cool for a live scenario. I'm gonna be honest, I've never used this because I got my original Vortex a year ago, so I don't know about your country, but here in Italy, there was a lockdown in place already, so forget about playing live, I don't know, at the bar or a small local venue, which would be the ideal situation to use this, right? Because imagine being able to move around the stage freely, maybe even jump off and mix in with the people while you're playing. Super cool. The final thing that's in this plastic bag right here is this extra strip, which, you know, right here, where you connect the strap, is also where the USB port is, or MIDI port, I should say. The cable, if you just plug it in normally, it would just hang down like this. Well, with this little strap, you can sort of hold it like this and attach it here somewhere, and it will keep the cable from hanging down and minimize the risk of it unplugging. Never used this, never had any issues. But if I were to play live, again, not home, but at a venue or something, and I wouldn't use the wireless mode, but the cable instead, I would make sure to use this as well, just to minimize any risks. So, good to have this as well. Now, let's get to the main dish. Let's remove these. Here's the Keytar. Nothing else here. I really love that it comes in an extra dust bag as well, because let's face it, you're probably not gonna be playing in Keytar mode all the time, right? Most of the time when you're home, you're just gonna want to use this as your standard desktop controller, so you're gonna want to put it on a table of sorts. And what I like to do is I like to put it on the dust bag instead of directly on the table, just to minimize any risk of scratches. This is nice and soft and, you know, a cool addition for sure. And here it is in all its glory. So yeah, you get 3 octaves, 8 sliders, 8 pads. It also comes with a little, very small software utility which you can install on your PC to assign all of these controls to whichever function you want to assign them to. So just to give you a quick example, these pads, which are also backlit by the way, they can be assigned to both MIDI notes, so you can use them to trigger drum samples, or maybe you want to control some parameters on your DAW, like play pause, fast forward, record arm, or stuff like that, right? So very useful, very flexible. 8 sliders as well. I usually use these to control effects like reverb, delay. This is a little display, it just displays numbers. It will show you the current value of the control you're moving. So if I'm moving a fader from say 0 to max, it will display a number showing me exactly where that fader is positioned. Very useful. And these 2 buttons here you can use to switch between presets, because you can store up to 25 presets. So suppose, you know, typical example, you want to play live, you want to play your drums. So you have assigned these pads to some MIDI notes, again, on that software utility. But then back in the studio, you prefer to use them to control some parameters in your DAW, again, transport functions, whatever. Well, you can just save the MIDI note configuration to say the first preset for live use. And then on the second preset, you have these assigned to the transport controls for the studio. And you can have, again, up to 25 different configurations. So very useful. What else do we have here? A secret extra hidden slider. I love to use this for volume. So, you know, I can just play my song and slowly lower volume to have a smooth fade out while I'm still playing. While we're here, this is the pitch bend wheel. It doesn't have a modulation wheel. It has something better. It has a touch stripe instead. So this is like a wheel, but it's touch. And in fact, you have 3 possible functions. You have these little 3 buttons here. It's like having 3 modulations, freely assignable as well. So super useful. And again, notice the layout. Whenever someone asks me, what do you think about the Vortex? I say they must have asked an experienced Keytar player when designing this, because the layout of the controls is just so intuitive, and you know, you don't have to worry, oh my god, where is this, where is that, and maybe interrupt your playing. It's all accessible with your left hand easily, so your thumb can control the pitch bend, at the same time your middle finger can control the touch strip, your index can assign different functions to the touch strip so that you can modulate different parameters on your synth live while playing. You're in total control. What else do we have here? We have this big button here, which is a sustain button. So if you hold the note, you press it, you let go of the note, it will continue on. Usually on standard keyboards, you would have some sort of jack input on the back to connect a separate pedal. Since this thing is wireless, they said, why would I want to have a pedal? You know, I can move around freely if I have a pedal to connect somewhere. Let's just make it a button. Genius. Then you have your octave up and octave down buttons here. Again, super easily accessible. You have 3 octaves here, of course, but if you go down to the lowest octave, it will be the lowest possible MIDI octave. If you go up all the way, it will be the highest possible MIDI octave. So basically what I'm trying to say is you cover the full possible spectrum, 3 octaves at a time. You can also split the keyboard, again with the utility I was talking about, and assign different octaves to different parts. So you have these 3 buttons here, upper, actually it's the other way around. Upper, lower, and split. So in lower mode, you can have, say, I don't know, octaves C0 through, what is it? 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 to 3. On the upper setting, you could have, I don't know, 3, let's make it easy, 3 to 6. So instead of having to press octave down 3 times to go from C3 to C0, you can just switch from upper to lower. So you can have different octave settings, or in split mode, you decide, again, the utility, where to split the keyboard, and the notes below the split point will follow the lower setting, and the notes above the split point will follow the upper setting. And you know, this might sound like something you don't really need. I have actually used this, and I still use it in my setup, because sometimes you're playing solos that only really require 2 octaves, but then there might be a moment during the song where you want to have kind of that super low note and maybe modulate it a bit. And so you could, you know, split the keyboard here, for instance, or maybe even lower, play your solo, and then play those super low notes as well without having to go down like crazy like this, or without even having to switch using the upper and lower buttons. You know, again, I'm telling you, this has been designed really well. It really takes into consideration all possible needs of a guitar player. And the last button we have here is the tilt button. And if you were sold on the touch strip and thought that was a very cool addition, this is gonna sound even better to you, because you can use the position of your Keytar to modulate parameters. Just like you would move a fader to control, say, the volume, so you know, 0 to maximum, you could control the volume with the position of your Keytar as well. So this would be 0 and this would be maximum. And this is just genius. Like, you could assign the tilt position to, say, a vibrato function. So, you know, if you hold it like this, normally you just do your thing, you play your solo, but then on the more epic moments, when you have some long-held notes or something, you can just go wah, and then simply by tilting the Keytar, it will apply vibrato. So, genius, I tell you, it's just fantastic. Let's have a look at this part as well. I hope you guys can see it right. So there is a 3-position switch here. The 3 possible positions are off. The upper position will turn on the wireless mode. So you're gonna have to put in some batteries here. This is where you would put them. The lower position is USB mode. So you will have to plug in the USB cable, which you will plug in here, of course. And then for the nostalgic ones out there, there even is a MIDI port for an actual MIDI cable. Who uses those? I don't know, but there is that option as well. So this is it. And again, if you register your purchase on the Alesis website, you will get heaps of software. Not only the synths, Ableton, Pro Tools, the special Pro Tools edition that comes with many extra plugins. There's also some educational resources as well. So I would definitely recommend registering your product and getting access to all of that software galore. So yeah, this is it. The Alesis Vortex Wireless 2. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. We're gonna go back to publishing Keytar, shredding videos. I can't wait. And on that note, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.